Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm going to give you a hands-on demonstration of our brand new Dirt Paths pieces. This collection's incredibly fun to build with, and it adds a great sense of momentum, a journey to any story. I'll show you a bunch of different ways you can build with these pieces, and at the end, we'll see how I use them to create this quaint village here. So let's dive in and take a look. All right, so let's look at the pieces in the Dirt Paths family. We have 6 pieces here that are part of the full Dirt Paths, and then 3 pieces here that are our advanced builder family. This is our first piece. It's the 4x4 straight dirt path. As the name implies, it is 4 inches by 4 inches. It is regular floor thickness, about 11 millimeters. This is a prototype, so it's cast in resin. Our final will be cast in gray dwarvenite like this, with an anchor magnet in the middle. The sides feature a cross-section of ground, and the top is a nice mix between packed dirt and grass. The packed dirt is sculpted and painted to go with our original packed dirt floors, and the sides are painted and sculpted to go with our grass floors. So you can interconnect this with all those families. This features, like all the pieces, it features a 2-inch wide path there. It has a sculpted organic grid in there. So we have, you can see the Eli has used the flowers and rocks to delineate the squares. So you have your 1, 2, your 3, your 4. Perfect for tactical movement. At 2 inches wide, you can get 2 minis abreast on there, or you can get something like the cart on there. It works great for a little pass, a little rural road even, if you'd like. This has a pole accessory on the right and the left, so you can pop in any of your pole accessories like that, so you can decorate up your road, something to the like. And these are all designed with the 2-inch path is centered, so they'll all line up together, so you can just connect, build out a road, whoever you want. All right, next up we have the 4x4 curve. It's a 90-degree curve, same footprint of a 4x4. It has 2 pole accessories holes. It has one there and one there. Once again, lets you decorate it up using your pole accessories. This one's really nice for like the swinging spike strap, something like that, if you want to add a little danger to your path. All right, and next we have the T intersection. So this is one path that has a second path intersecting into it. They line up with everything else. Same 4x4 footprint. And this has a single pole accessory hole at the top there, which is kind of perfect for like the signpost or the like. The last 4x4 is the crossroads here. So we have 2 crossing paths right there. And this one has a single pole accessory hole up there. Also great for a signpost or a tree or whatever you want to pop in there. All right, then we have the 2x4 straight. So it's essentially doing the same thing as the straight, right? 2-inch wide path, doing the straight, but it's only 2 inches long. This lets you build in 2-inch increments. So if you need to wrap around a 6-inch building or line up with a 6x6 wildlands floor, the like, being able to build in 2-inch increments is crucial. Also, you can double 2 of these up together to create just a 4-inch long straight. And the last of our full path pieces, this is the Dirt Path Transition Bank. So this has the same profile as the rest of our grass banks, like this. So you can line up with the rest of the grass banks or any of the wildlands banks, although it has a different paint scheme. It's the same bank profile there. And this lets you transition from a path down to negative space. You could do, if you want to transition down to a river or to one of the dirt road terrain trays, or you can use it to transition down to sculpted ground, like, or do a gentle rise. If you want to have the road gently go up, you can stack this on top of a road, something like that, to let you gently increase your elevation 1 floor height. All right, then we have our advanced builder family. So these are all 2x2s. So we have the straight. So this has 1 inch of grass and 1 inch of dirt. Combined together, these can create all of these existing shapes and a whole bunch more. It lets you do a lot of sort of very fiddly, intricate building, as well as kind of fill in some gaps if you need some extra sort of basic shapes. It transitions really nicely from dirt on one side to grass on the other, so you can use these as transition pieces if you want to transition from like dirt and mud to nice grass or wildlands and the like. Lots of fun things you can do with these, and we'll walk through it all in just a moment. Then the next advanced builder piece is the convex curve. So it's just 1 inch of grass and then 3 squares of dirt there with a gentle curve to it. And last one is the concave. So this is the inverse, right? It's 3 inches of grass with just 1 little inch of dirt there. And Eli sculpted this one kind of at a nice diagonal, so it lets you make kind of nice diagonal roads as well. All right, so let's look at how you build with all these pieces. All right, so building with the paths is pretty basic to start. You're just going to put them end to end and make a path, which is surprisingly fun, right? There's something about making a road that is very satisfying. And generally, the first thing you're going to want to do is figure out a destination, right? Where is this road leading? So in this case, we'll put a little cottage down and boom. Now we're on a journey over there. And you can put as many straights as you want in a row and just have the longest road ever. If you want to make the road a little more interesting, we could put some curves in here. So we could do something like this. Boom. 2 curves. Boom. Like that. Maybe we want to get like really windy. We can put another one like this. Another one like this. And now, of course, you wouldn't build the road doing this unless there's a reason. So now we have a little story here, right? What's the thing that's there that caused them to sort of divert the road? Is there a magical thing you wanted to go around? Something, maybe there's a rock. There's a thing, right? We had some reason. So you can kind of use your, ideally you're using your road building to also tell a story. So you can do as many straights and curves as you want to get a straight or a windy road and kind of wind around town wherever you want to go. Boom, boom, boom. Now, if you want to get slightly more complicated, we can add in the intersection. So this is if you want to have the road continue on. So maybe this is the winding road leading past this little cottage, and we want to have it continuing on. So boom, we have to break out from there, and it can just keep going. Another thing you can do with these little intersection pieces that I really like is have them lead to the door of a building. So maybe we take this guy, boom, something like that. Let's see so we can see it. Hang on, boom. So we can have the road lead right up to the door, something like that. We can keep going on this way. And if you introduce a building, so in this case, most things right now we've been working with are 4x4. So we kind of fill in the area with grass, do this, boom, boom, boom. We quickly have encounter throwing out much grass. If we put in, this building is now 6 inches long, and we need to get back to lining stuff up, you can use the 2x4. So we do something like that. And now we're lined up if we wanted to go around this building like that. Boom, 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 boom. Just like that. So the 2x4 is going to really come in handy if you're doing anything that's not a base 4x4. So then if you want to get even trickier with the intersections, you can use them to create like an area of floating grass. So let's say we had our road coming in here, and we want to build a little point of interest. So we're going to take this T intersection, we're going to take this curve, we're going to take another T intersection and another curve. So we can do something like that. So now we have this neat little spot of floating grass in the middle of the road. And it's another opportunity to show why is this road diverging? Maybe we have some sort of decorative object. Maybe we have some sort of interesting object of power. Maybe there's a big old decorative tree. If you want to cover it more completely, like you could take something like the old well and put it there. It's kind of neat having a little bit of the grass poking out around it. Or maybe you want to cover it completely, right? We can use the fountain here. Now it's covered completely and it just feels like it's all solid dirt going around it. So it's a neat use of the intersections. If you want, you can go even further. Let's make it a little longer. So we're going to push this out. We're going to push this back one, boom, straight in there. Something like that. Now we have an elongated area, and that would be perfect for something like the Roaring Lion statue, right? Oblong in there. If we had some fruit stalls, we could put them along it. Maybe it's a little it's a chance to do kind of like a decorative sort of garden area in the middle. So like, do I have a... All right, this becomes a neat, okay, if you were going to run a combat encounter here, this becomes an interesting obstacle, and you can do duck behind coverage or getting across that, something like that. So once again, it's a chance for storytelling. Why is this path diverging? Why do we have an area that doesn't have as much foot traffic, so it's not worn down to dirt? Then we can go even further, right? Let's take this, let's open this up even more. So we're going to, so we could, if we just wanted to do a little bit of opening, we could open it up 2 inches like that and pop in our 2x4s like that, and then put some rest in the middle. Do a smaller opening, but let's go bigger. Let's go 4 inches. So we're gonna further out this way. Boom. She gets out of here. Put 2 more straights in. Push this over to run out of space. And then we're going to drop some grass in the middle. You know, if we were building, if these are prototypes, they don't have the anchor magnets. If we were building on terrain trays with the anchor magnets, stuff wouldn't drift around as much. But right now, we're free forming with the prototypes. So now we have a pretty big square grass in there. So you could put a building in there if you wanted to. You could put something grand, right? Feels nice and big. You could put like a watchtower in the middle, big old grand tower. You could use it as a decorative area. Like if we wanted to put that, maybe this is the sort of the beauteous town center. So we have taking our fountain and putting a bunch of our shrubberies around, make it kind of like a park area. Or maybe it's a chance to do, it's a cool narrative thing, right? Maybe this is you've got the magnolia tree that's been in the village for 500 years and has stories you can magically speak. Or maybe you want to get even more magical. Let's put a quildren tree in there. Right now, this is like important, right? I think if we're drawing our eye to it by having it in this little floating island of grass, this becomes important. So maybe this quildren tree, right? They can talk to it, it's sentient or whatever. Or maybe we want to just get full on magical. We could put like our oracle pool in there with a life puck in it, boom, and have it be like some, this is the magic pool that people go to and something like. But anything you put in here is going to really pop because the green with the brown around it has a cool frame. It's going to be an important focal point for anybody's attention. So then you can also, if we want to run these roads in between, if we're doing more of a village run, we can use these roads to build in between, to fill in the space between the buildings. So it's very much just like we would do with the alleyways we have from our streets collection. Start with some buildings. Let's put this guy down in the middle. Boom. And we're going to just build around. Let's give ourselves a little space here. We're going to build around this guy. So you start with your buildings and let's just start filling all the space in between each of these with streets. Straight. Boom. So we're going to go all the way around this guy like there. And then let's add some more bangs and see what happens. So I'm going to put this guy in. We're going to want to want the door. Want this to feed into the door. That looks pretty neat. Let's put a guy here. Let's slide this way. Just leave a little more space to get this all on camera here. Okay. So we got that guy. We got this guy. Let's get another. So we're just trying to make it feel like a big bustling village. So there's roads all over the place. You right here. Okay. So here's a good example. We're running into trouble here because we're trying to put a 6-inch building here on this 4-inch run. So we're just going to slide it forward. As you forward 2 inches. Oh, I don't even need the road because I just put some grass in there. But if you run into a spot where you're running into trouble because of a 6-inch building, just use the 2x4. You can pop it in there. Building here. Let's change this into a T intersection. Do I have any more T intersections? Boom. Slide it down. Just for paving, taking every spot of negative space between the buildings and just going to fill, let's see, so we can see it better. We're just going to fill it in with roads. So now you have this sense of a very well-traveled village with the paths going around. And if you want to use these paths as part of your storytelling, think about where would people be going all the time, and the paths should lead to that, right? So if this is sort of the main building that everybody's going to, we have this sort of the main road in the middle of the town. The main path is going right down to this main entrance. Maybe this is the town hall or the main the big warehouse if it's the main industry of the town or whatever. But this becomes a building of import because we're driving right to it. So sure, whatever you lead the paths to is going to be the place that's going to draw your eye. But very quick and easy to build good-looking encounters with these paths. Let's look at what you can do with some negative space with these pieces. All right, so this dirt path transition bank opens up a bunch of fun negative space building possibilities. Negative space building is just utilizing the space where there are not sculpted pieces, the negative space, to do something graphic. So in this case, we have a Raging River train tray. We're going to take that transition bank, we're going to put a road there, and we're going to quickly make a little ford, right? A chance for to get over the river. So let's pop that guy down, tree there. We're going to put a couple of banks. It's the same profile as the banks, boom, 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 boom. So this could be the edge of a lake or something. Or if we want, we can come up on the other side and let's have the road continue on the other side. So you can make like a neat little stream moments, right? This is a chance to cross the stream. You could throw a little bridge here. You could have some sort of exotic counter, but really easy to introduce another texture by popping these down, and then you can go back up if you want to continue the road. You can use the same technique. Just change the terrain tray. Let's switch that. Let's say you're using our dirt road terrain trays. If you wanted to introduce another path connected to those roads, you pop these guys on, boom, something like that. Straight. Pop on. Let's put some grass over here. Pave this out. And this, once again, all these prototypes don't have magnets. So if they had the magnets, they would stick to the train tray really nice and stay put the first time when I put them on there. But we could do something like this if you wanted to introduce a path coming off, use the sculpted path with the dirt road train tray. So this lets you have some interesting intersections or kind of create extra little side paths wherever you want using this. And then finally, you can use these to do like a neat little, like a decorative opening or a glade or something like that. We can use the mossy cobbles here. And then maybe this is we have a little path leading into, we want to make like a little opening in our park or something. So we could take a bunch of concaves, bump, jump. Like this, cover up that negative space, fill in some grass. And then this becomes like a great spot in a park to like put something, right? Cool, a decorative tree or a fountain or some planters, whatever. But those mossy cobbles work really nicely with that. So this transition bank just lets you connect to anything, as well as, right, you could connect up if you wanted the road to sort of slowly to elevate up as you go. You could do something like this, right? You could use this to go up one floor height and then sort of keep going up if you need to gently transition up or down. Or if you were transitioning to a house, So you wanted to sort of transition to a house that was one layer up. You could do that and then wrap the sides with some banks like that. Boom. So transition bank opens up a lot of new building options. Speaking of building options, let's look at the advanced builder pieces and see what those open up. All right, so let's play with these advanced builder pieces. There's so much you can do with these guys. So just to start, if you do basic building, we're going to put them together to just make simple paths, just like we were doing with larger pieces. You put them together, so everything, and you get a large path. What's fun is these can recreate all of the shapes in the regular 4x4 dirt paths we can create with these. So we've got some straights here. If we want to make a curve, we will pop a couple of these out. We got to put a convex over here. We got to put a concave over here. Boom, boom, boom. And now we have a curve. If we want to turn this into a T-intersection, pop those guys out. We're going to put another convex here. Put that straight over there. Boom. We now have ourselves a T-intersection. If we want to turn that into a crossroads, pop those out. Pair of convexes. And then more straights. So these can replicate all those shapes. It's much faster to build with the 4x4s. You'll eat up your 2x2s very quickly, these advanced builder pieces, but there's super flexibility, so they can sort of pinch hit for any of those regular shapes. In addition, because these are 2x2s, you can offset things by 2 inches. So if we wanted to make this more of an irregular crossroads rather than just straight, let's pop this over by 2 inches. So we're just going to slide that guy out. Boom. Pop this guy over. Put there. Boom. If these were once again prototypes with no anchor magnets, so they're drifting around a little bit. If they're get some anchor magnets on train tray, they'll stay put. All right. So now we have a really fun kind of offset intersection. You can do any of the bits. If you're going straight and you want to offset your path, you can also do the same gag. So let's say we're going straight and we want to offset it by 2 inches and end up over here. We're going to do the same trick. We're going to pop convex and then concave. Oop. And then over here, same thing, convex and a concave. All right, so now we've taken our straight run and we're offset by 2 inches. So this lets you, if you want to have like a gently wending road, you can do this in conjunction with the regular full curves. It feels less abrupt than when you do the full 4x4 90-degree curve and then a 90-degree curve. You get a little thing. And you can continue this if you want to make a long diagonal stretch. Right, so you just keep doing alternating concave, convex, concave, convex. So we go concave, convex, concave. Over here, we got convex, concave, convex. Let's do a couple more. Convex, concave, concave, convex, and boom, now we have a wonderfully diagonal run. The other basic kind of path shape that we can do with these that you can't do with the 4x4s currently is you can make a little end cap. So you can take 2 of these to sort of terminate a path. So you can have a little dead end like that, or if you have like a 3-way, let's pull this up. Let's say we're going straight. You can do like you're going to make a T intersection, so like that. That. You can sort of have a little spot on the side of your road to put a point of interest, right, is on the path. Maybe it's, if for the sake of camera, let's go around here. Right, so that we could have like a, maybe this is where the town well sits or something, right? It's a nice little spot to put a point of interest. All right, so that's all the sort of basic 2-inch wide path building. Now, if you want, because these are 2x2s, we can open up the paths, right? We can use our packed dirt pieces to open up the paths and make a little more space in there. So if we wanted to, we could do the same sort of idea, make like a point of interest in our path. Let's open up for this dirt here. So we're going to take a convex and a concave, run it straight, and run our path out here like this. And then over here, same thing, convex and concave. So now we've opened up a little space in the path, right? So we're running down a road, we have like a nice little open spot. So that's an excuse to put some sort of point of interest there, right? We could put something neat. Let's see. Right, it's a sort of excuse to put something in the path. It can be a plant, maybe it's a chance to put a signpost in there. Something like this. Maybe if we want, we did that well gag. This could be the well, although why is the path going through? I don't know. But it's a nice spot to put anything interesting. If you wanted to do like a garden build, you could swap this out. It doesn't have to be just a dirt floor in there, right? You could take the urban planter and pop that in, have like this is a spot for your magnolia tree. Maybe this is a garden path, right? And sort of path goes around, put a neat tree there. Maybe you want to put a little tiny guardhouse, right? This could be like a little toll road guardhouse sort of situation, right? You put something like that in there. So you got lots of options to kind of open up, widen your road. If you want, you can go further and just widen the whole road that way, right? So you can take, let's say we were starting with a regular 4x4 pieces with a 2-inch wide road. We want to widen it out for a section. Maybe we're turning it from a path into like a full-blown road. So let's put a couple of these down. And we're going out like that. And now we have this is a 4-inch wide. Now this is like a proper road. We've gone from a path to a road here. And so you put your wagon on that. That feels like a big, right? That is like a main thoroughfare. If you want to get even crazier, we can go 4 inches. Let's do a whole 6-inch road. Let's see what this looks like. We have to come up for one because, so we're going to do that same widening. So we start with a 2-inch wide by using the concave, convex base, just like we were doing the diagonal road. Convex, concave, convex, concave, out, and then put some straights, and then we can run a big, long. Now that's like a really wide Grand Avenue. At that point, you almost want to just switch over to Imperial Streets, but I don't know, maybe it's a dried riverbed or something. I don't know. It's an option to do a thing. At this point, it's going to open up. We can start doing building in this space like a village. We'll get to that at the end. If you want to do intersections, so let's say we had this 4-inch ride, but we've got the dirt in the middle. If you want to do turns or intersections, you do the exact same thing as you were doing before. You just open them up with this piece in the middle. So you're just kind of doing the exact same technique we were doing before for the curve, but you're just putting your 2-inch dirt in between everything. Boom. And then the same if we wanted to turn that into a T intersection. Boom. And this is kind of a funky one because we're stepping down in size. But if this was, for a sec, like that. Boom. So we got a T intersection, then we can do a 4-way crossroads. Right, nice and wide. And then if we want to turn this into a crossroads, same thing. Put a couple of convexes, and off we go. I'm out of dirt, but if you get the idea, right? It's a 4-way intersection. You could also do, if you wanted to have sort of what we were doing before, if you wanted to have a full-on road here and then have it connect into a smaller path. This is a really good transition for that. We can that in there, and then you can run your sort of your regular path. You can have a regular path intersect with a wider road. You can also use the same idea if you just want to have like a little turnout on your regular. Say this is our regular path. All right, we're doing our regular path. Maybe even we're using some of these ones that we want to have kind of an extended open area. We can just do that and throw the dirt here. And instead of kind of making it in the center, we're putting it on the side. Right, so you can then, this is a great spot to put like a roadside house or something if we had. Maybe you could put something there. You could put it on top or in line, something like that. Bump. All right, so that is sort of all the basic road building. Then let's look at opening up into a grander area. So let's say you're doing a village build. You want to have your sort of path leading to the village. You can take a bunch of these use it to make like a big open kind of center of your village. And I did a big build that we'll look at right after this to show it how to build that, but it can be the basics, right? So you start with any of your paths. We're opening up. And then from here, you can kind of go as wide as you need to go to accommodate whatever has much open dirt as you want. So like maybe this is the town square, right? You want to put a fountain or a well or something in there, and you want to kind of open up around it. So you just can build your perimeter using these pieces. That's really easy to expand out and contract down as much as you need. And then you can also build in line, right? Let's say we had some houses or something. We could build, if we want, we could build a house in line, right? It feeds, kind of having the dirt go right into the side of it. It looks, whoops, we're on top of that piece of grass. Right, it feels like it integrates it pretty nicely into the scene when it feels like the dirt's kind of wrapping around it. So you can do something like that, and you can just sort of open these up. And then this is a chance to you can have multiple roads kind of connecting in anywhere you want into your dirt patch area. You can also use this as like a spot to put, like if you wanted to put a big point of interest, something, you can put a big castle tower in there, something. If you wanted to make, like, let's say we were going to build, we'll build a little crossroads, like we'll just start with this thing here. We're going to make a little crossroads coming in. This is the watchtower at the crossroads. So let's run this all the way around. We'll put this on the dirt. You're going to go here. You're going to go here. We're going to sort of merge the dirt. Pump. We have this road coming in, and then maybe right there. Let's go one more. And that's the thing, because these are 2x2, you can just sort of zip around, you can figure out, you slide them around as you're building, kind of expand or contract as much as you need. If it's not quite sitting, you just slide it out another 2 inches and see what happens. Boom. You know what we'll do? We'll slide you. Ploop. There. Bop. We're gonna run a road through here. Like this. Coming on back down. Let's go one more. Convex. And one thing you will discover with these pieces is you use them pretty quickly. Like, you use them up pretty quickly. Like, they are so versatile, and you're gonna want to do a bunch. So I always recommend get more than you think you'll need, because once you start building with them, you're just going to want to do more and more, and you will go through your supply pretty quickly. Boom. Right, so you can build this kind of nice little open patch around this guard tower. You could have your wagon parked out there. Boom. Put a couple of pieces of it just around it. You can make a kind of a neat scene. The other thing you can do to save some of these is, if you want, you can integrate some of the 4x4s in there. So, like, let's say we didn't want a road coming out here. We wanted to sort of dead end this. We could make a corner, something like this. Now we have this floating piece of grass. What's cool is, Got to go back to 2x2s here. We can then use this. We can cheat with our convexes and use this as a little patch of floating grass in the midst of our big dirt area. So you can kind of reverse what you're doing here. So we're using this curve here, make a little area of floating grass. So we got our watchtower. Now this is a spot to put put some interesting MacGuffin there, or some interesting, some sort of point of interest thing. I'll put up, maybe it's the magic orb that guards the tower. So you can definitely mix and match using the larger 4x as part of your kind of bigger build that's not actually path, right? At this point, it feels like this is all one big dirt area, even though we're using the path piece there. Once the rest of the dirt is around, it doesn't feel like a path anymore. So this gives you a pretty good overview of what you can do. There's a lot you're going to discover with these pieces. They're very easy to work with. They're very fun to work with. You're generally just, you're lining up the grass with the grass and the dirt with the dirt. And you'll find, I think you'll find some other fun things you can do with them as you go. All right, with a great understanding of sort of how these pieces work, let's go look at them actually in an encounter and look at a 2x4 village that uses all these techniques to put together a full cohesive encounter. Okay. So this is a 2-foot by 4-foot build. It is a village encounter that sort of showcases all the techniques we're talking about. For this, I've used one Dirt Paths feature bundle, so you can get an idea of what kind of coverage that mega pack would give you. And I had 3 4x4 straights and 5 various advanced builder pieces left over, so I didn't even use quite all of them, because I wanted to have a little more room for buildings. And this would be a great encounter for a sandbox, like explore the village kind of thing, or you could do a really fun combat encounter where the bandits or gnolls or something is sort of attacking and they have to defend the town. It could be sort of building to building combat running around through. So let's look at all these techniques, how we're using these dirt paths to kind of tie this whole village together. So we're going to start over here. So we start very simple. We're just using the big 4x4 dirt paths together to bring us into the village here. And over here, our first little fun bit, we're using the dirt path transition banks to connect with the rest of the grass banks here to make a nice negative space river. We could leave it like this and just have it a scenario you have to ford your way across the river. But I thought it'd be a fun opportunity for a little bridge, so we're just using scaffolding pieces to make a little bridge. So this is sort of the entry to the town. If you were going to do a combat, this is a great bottleneck to fight in, or the players can destroy the bridge to help slow the way down or something. Neat spot, right? Bridge is always a fun place to fight. And then coming over here, I'm going to pop this off so we can see what's going on. We have we're using the 2x4s to keep us, to get us back online. Because I was trying to get all these 4x4s to line up, so it was faster and easier to build. We're using a T intersection into another straight to feed us right into the front of this warehouse, right? So I love using those double doors. Feel like they really want the big high double doors feel like they really want a path to go right to them. So the path is going right into this the mill here. That's where maybe the lumber comes or goes, or the grain or apples, whatever they're milling here. It comes on in through that main door. But as once again, so far it's just all pretty straightforward building. And it just shows you how these paths can really tell your story, right? It's telling people where to go right into the mill. And then we're going to continue on into the rest of the village over here, and we'll start using some of the advanced builder pieces. All right, so heading into the village square here, let's pull this guy out of the way so we can see what we're doing. All right, so we switched over to a bunch of the advanced builder pieces here. So we could open up, right? So we're taking our regular 2-inch wide path and we're opening up, put a bunch of dirt down. So we could put anything we want here. I put the old well in here, but you could put a statue, you could put a fountain, you could have nothing, you could have a little farmer's market. But it's this big open area that everybody would congregate in the center of town. And we're just using, so I figured out what I was going to do, put down a bunch of dirt and then paved around it using the advanced builder pieces. So they kind of run the perimeter. And a little fun bit that's happening back here is we have the advanced builder pieces then curving back into into the paths. And we made this neat little sort of peninsula of grass. And so that begs the question, why isn't this all dirt? And A, I did it because it kind of looked neat. And then B, it gives us a chance we can put a couple of these planters down, sort of flanking this entrance, make it like a really nice entrance over to this big inn here, and a lamp post. So we could have just done a lamp post. I thought the planters looked pretty, it would be kind of a neat, you could do that sort of thing too. Something like that. Gives you license to put some more decorative bits. And if you're doing combat, these are kind of a nice way to break up. Right now, there's a spot to hide. It's breaking up your line of sight, breaking up your movement. Looks more interesting. So we're just feeding into the 2-inch path here, and then coming back over here, we're doing a fun, let's put this out of the way. Over here, we're doing a fun thing where we're just using the 2 convexes to feed us into this doorway here. So it looks like this is like a high trafficked area, like the dirt goes right up to the door. I really like the story of the dirt going all the way up to the door. Oh, also, I should note, I'm doing a nice mix here of some of the buildings are built in line, and then I've cocked a few of them askew. So this building back here is built on top, and it's cocked a little askew. This building back here is on top, and it's cocked a little askew. So it feels a little more real. Like, it helps the verisimilitude if you have a few of the buildings straight, a few of them crooked. It kind of feels like more like a village, because you kind of want this circular feeling around the village square. But you can get a nice mixture of building inline and on top, kind of however you want with these pieces. So speaking of on top, let's look at what's happening back here. All right, so over here, we're using these advanced builder pieces to do a little diagonal that feeds into this building. And the fun thing I did over here to try and just because we could, I guess, move these guys out of the way, was put this thing is on top and it's askew. All right, so we could have built it in line, but I wanted it to face the square a little bit more and sort of show you some options. So I just had it terminate using 2 of the concaves, and then that kind of gave me the freedom to just move this building around to sort of wherever we need it within that space, and the dirt path would lead right to it. So it gives you a lot of freedom there, and then boom, we pop a step in, and then we have ourselves a little slightly askew building. It has a tightly packed village feel there. Let's go, while we're here, let's go look up the front. I forgot to show something over here. So let's go look at this little garden area. All right, so let's come back over to this area. I'm going to put this back together so we can look at it. So in the front of this building here, I used some of the advanced builder pieces and a patch of dirt to make like just a heavily trodden dirt yard. I used the freestanding wooden walls there to make like fence it in. So we could have just left it open so you could sort of see it. But it's a really great opportunity. You can use these to put like a dirt patch anywhere you need a dirt patch in among your grass. You just pop these in and make whatever shape dirt patch you need. All right, now let's look at this last bit over here by the inn. So let's pull this building out so we can see what's going on here. And because these are built scatter style, really easy to pull it out of your scene. Boom. All right, so coming in over here, let's pull these out so we can see. We're going from the advanced builder pieces in just back into the regular 4x4 dirt paths. We're using a T intersection here. So will lead us out of town by the big old inn. They're using a 9-degree curve into. This is really fun. This is the crossroads. So we're just using the 4x4 crossroads here. This one path leads us into the stable part of the inn. This part leads us off around the bend out of town going the other direction. And then this section, we've got 2 of the concaves creating a little dead end, which feeds us into these stairs right up into the inn itself. So really fun to build with these pieces. You can just kind of make all these little paths every which way you want to go. And what I did in this case is I roughed in the paths and then built the buildings. I kind of figured out where I thought I wanted to come in and then built the buildings to fit with the story I told with the paths. Like I knew there was going to be a big one here, so I had a bunch of stuff leading to it, the central area, etc. So hopefully this will give you an idea of kind of the ways you can start approaching building these paths and what sort of coverage you can get out of the Dirt Pass feature bundle mega pack, right? We still had 3 of these left over and 5 little advanced builder pieces. So plenty of coverage for a 2 foot by 4 foot build. So that should give you a great idea of some of the many ways you can build with these Dirt Paths pieces. If you want to learn more about the rest of our cities collection, take a look at the playlist linked in the description below. And if you want to dive deeper, hop into our Discord where we have an amazing community who would love to talk terrain with you. If you enjoyed this content, give it a like, subscribe, and throw in a comment. It really helps our channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this adventure. And now, it's back to the anvil.